1800s, after Beethoven. So that's me. I hope you can understand my Australian accent. Did you learn American English or British English? What sort of English did you learn?
Japanese.
I see.
Also teacher can speak English fluently.
Well, it's tricky. That is common, but yeah, you can't always have a native teacher. But sometimes a non-native can be better than a native teacher in terms of their knowledge about the language. A native speaker, their pronunciation is perfect or very good, and they can tell you if something is right or wrong. But unless they have studied it, then they may not be able to explain what is correct and why it's correct. So a non-native who has learned that language in class or some other way might be more knowledgeable. Neither one is necessarily better, as long as pronunciation is clear. If the pronunciation isn't good, that can be tricky. Well, hopefully you will enjoy having a native teacher. But if you can't understand because of my accent, if you're not used to it, or it's too quick, please let me know. Now, okay. Alright, so a little while ago, I did this in class, some sentences from Hello Talk. So, Ochai-san, there is an app on the phone that you can use called Hello Talk. And this is an app for people to, yes, you can show him.
Hello application.
So this is an app that people can use to practice languages that they are learning. For example, if I use it, then I can see lots of Japanese people who are learning English, and they will write things in English or Japanese, and other people who use the app can talk with them. They can correct something. If you write something, other people can correct it for you. Or you can just talk like messages on the phone. So you can connect with lots of people who are learning your language. And what I've got today is a couple of examples. Two. Last slide I did 4 and it was 3. So 2 examples of some English that a Japanese person has written, but we need to correct it. Something isn't right. So here we go. It's my turn. And so, not you. So another person has said, if we haven't second vaccine, doesn't have freedom. Is this sentence correct? So Makoto is asking if this is correct. If we haven't second vaccine, doesn't have freedom. Well, I can understand what he means to say, but it's not quite right. we have. In fact, if we divide the sentence here, the comma, both parts need to be changed. So what should we do? If we haven't second vaccine, let's start with this. If we haven't second vaccine, how can we change that? Well, firstly, just to confirm, I think it's clear, but what is the meaning? Even in Japanese, what is he saying? Okay. We also have past tense if we haven't second vaccine. So you could even say not just ukenaito, but ukenakireba. Right?
We will not have second vaccine.
If so,
If we will not have second vaccine.
we will not have second vaccine. Yeah, not quite. If we haven't had, we haven't, I can't see. If we haven't had a second vaccine, is what I would do.
Can I say if we haven't done a second vaccine?
If we haven't done the second vaccine, it's very casual. Very casual. People might say that. Technically, you don't do a vaccine. You have a vaccine, you get a vaccine, you get vaccinated. But you're right, you will probably hear some natives say that. I might say that if I'm being very casual, you know.
If we haven't done second vaccine yet.
If you haven't, okay, done, you want to say done?
Yeah, done.
If you haven't done second vaccine yet,
It's still casual.
yeah, the done is the casual. You don't do a vaccine, technically, but people will say that. For example, I might say, at university, I did German. I didn't do German, that doesn't really make sense. I studied German, I learned about German, I practiced German. I didn't do German, but it's very, it is common to use do in this casual sense. It has a substitute for other verbs. Right? So if we haven't had the second vaccine, there's one word that there's a word starting with you that I wanted to put at the start of this sentence and change it. So that if we haven't had the second vaccine, we can use another word here and change the whole thing until unless. Fantastic. Unless. Unless. How do we finish that sentence? This bit.
We have had second vaccine.
Unless.
We have had
Have had
the second
the second
vaccine.
vaccine. Okay, let's just do that short. Okay. Unless we have had the second vaccine. Great. Fantastic, unless we have had the second vaccine. And to make it a slightest bit more natural, unless we've had. Right? Unless we've had. Both correct. Both correct. But, especially when speaking or in social media, unless we've had is quicker and maybe more natural. But honestly, either one is 100% okay. Unless we've had the second vaccine, okay, doesn't have freedom.
That is using only he or she or singular.
Ah. So, say that one more time. You're talking about does.
And that is using only singular sentence. Before sentences using we.
Right.
So that is weird.
Okay, so we have word plural.
We doesn't have freedom. It's like kind of weird. Comfort.
Yeah, it's odd, right? He doesn't, she doesn't, it doesn't, but we don't,
We don't.
right? So what do we need to do here?
We doesn't have freedom. Haven't. We don't have freedom.
We don't have freedom.
Not freedom.
If we haven't had the second vaccine, unless we've had the second vaccine, we don't have freedom. But that, yeah, fine, absolutely. We don't have freedom. That works. This is a moving. Okay, we don't have freedom. Unless we've had the second vaccine, we don't have freedom. Yeah, that works perfectly well. That's good. Is there, I'm trying to think now too, but is there another way, another thing that we can rephrase? Can Eri or Jirai-san think of something? Maybe there isn't.
Can we say we won't have freedom?
Unless we've had the second vaccine, we won't have freedom. So, we won't have freedom. We won't have freedom. So this, what's the difference between we don't have and we won't have?
It's the future.
Okay. So we don't have means now. We won't have means in the future. So potentially this can change because it's talking about now. We won't have freedom means it will be like that in the future too, maybe. But that's the implication. That's what you're, you know. That's the meaning you're expressing there. We won't have freedom. And that's where I'd say my simulation. Okay, good. That's good. It's possible to make it other things, but that's good. Okay. So unless we've had second vaccine, we don't have freedom, or we won't have freedom. We won't be free. We could change to an adjective. Alright, now this is long, but I'm just going to look at a little bit of it, okay? So, let's look at this one, this sentence. Okay. In fact, we'll do that. Okay. So 1, 2, 3 sentences. So my kitten is so cute. That reminds me of when my children were more little. I have 3 children, so very busy every day. But I was 2 more busy a few years ago than now, because my children were baby. Now, there are actually quite a few small errors in those 2 sentences. So you can, I'll open it up. Anything is fine. What mistakes can you find? Good? In fact, I will give you 1 minute, and then I will ask each of you for one mistake that you have found in these 3 sentences. 1 minute. Okay, so let's start with here. One mistake in all of this.
2 more busy.
Okay, 2 more busy.
I don't use this.
Okay, what should we do?
I don't know. Busier, much busy. More busy. 2 more busy.
I was 2 more busy.
What is busier?
Okay, busier. I was
Busier than now.
good. I was busier. Okay.
Than now.
Can we add anything else to busier? I was 2 more busier. 2 more busy.
Too busier.
Who knows?
Much more.
What was it?
Many. Much.
Much.
Much busier.
Okay, much busier.
Much busier.
Okay. Much busier. Now there's another bit here that is similar to this, and so I'll explain a bit about that a bit later. So, I was much busier a few years ago. Okay, I'll explain it in a minute. Utsai-san.
First sentence is also weird.
It's weird.
I hear weird.
The first one, that reminds me of when my children were more little.
I don't like this thing. I don't like this sentence. I
Okay.
even when my children, I don't use this sentence.
Alright.
Enjoy.
I'll go to Eri and I'll come back to Ochia-san.
I can fix it.
Yeah. Finding a mistake is one thing, fixing it is another thing.
Yeah.
Alright, Eri, what can you find?
That reminds of me, or me and of, or remains.
So what's wrong?
That remains.
Remind.
Remind,
It reminds me. Remain,
yeah.
right? Nakor. Right? So to remind, right? It reminds me of when my children were more little. Okay, this is fine. Me, oh, that's correct.
Okay.
It reminds me of something, right? Because what comes after remind may not be of. I can remind of, remind to do something, right? Remind to do. Remind that, right? It's all different. So it reminds me of something. I can remind you to do your homework. Right? So that reminds me of when my children were more little. Have you found something? What's the answer? it's okay. It's tricky. I'll underline some spots here. Ah. All right. Does this help?
The children were younger.
When my children were, okay, we can say younger. We can also say, what is essentially the error here? More little.
More little.
Is it the word or the grammar?
Grammar.
Why is it wrong? What's wrong with more little? That's okay too. More, smaller, littler. I don't even know how to spell it. I suppose that's right. I don't usually write it. Littler, it's asterisk, like some people might say. Because you cannot say more little. Right? And this is sort of related to this bit here. Right? More little, right? usually when you create the comparative form, right? So more something, prettier, more beautiful, right? There's two ways. There's, right, add ER, right, like prettier, smaller, right, bigger. Or there's, you say more, right, more beautiful, more intelligent, right? So this is pretty, right? So pretty, prettier, small, smaller, big, bigger, right? Beautiful, more beautiful, intelligent, more intelligent. What's, if you can find, what is the main difference between these words and these words?
Longer.
They're long, aren't they? They're long words. We don't say beautifuler. You shouldn't anyway. Intelligenter. More intelligent, more beautiful. So usually 3 syllables or more, we add more. More intelligent, more beautiful, more complicated. Right? 1 syllable, 2 syllables, we usually add ER. Right? 2 syllables can be a sort of, depending on the word thing, like here little, more little, littler. But usually the safest way is we add ER. So more busy is wrong because it's a short word. Right? So it's busier. More little is a short word. Little is a short word, 2 syllables. So we add ER. However, littler, I'm not sure about that one. So I would say smaller, same meaning, or younger. So talking about age, not size. And then here, 2 more busy, well, we add much to emphasize. Right? Because much means a lot. 2 means, well, too much, right? You know, something isugashisugiru, right? Is different from motto isugashii, right? Okay. Here something is missing. This is just something about, I wouldn't say it just as a native because I was busier a few years ago. We already know you're busier than now. You don't need to say than now because you were busier, obviously more busy than now. I said more busy, busier than now. Right? So that's a little bit unnecessary. Right? So something's missing here and something is grammatically incorrect there. Okay, so because my children were babies, right? My children were babies, right? So similar to the one we had last time, right? What it was about the vaccines, right? We don't, right? They were babies. All right, last one. What is missing here? I have 3 children, so very busy every day. Look, on social media, you might see something like this because native speakers deliberately leave out words, right? But for a learner, you can't be sure that they know what they're doing, right? So my guess is this is not deliberate. This is not intentional. So this is a mistake. I have 3 children, so very busy every day. Who is she talking about here? So very busy every day. Are the children busy?
Verb.
So we need to, you say verb. Sorry, what did you say?
Verb.
Yes, a verb is missing, but not only a verb. Hmm? I have 3 children. Children are not busy. Not these children. Who is very busy every day?
I was.
Okay, great. I have 3 children, so I and so we had I was. I have 3 children. Yes, in fact, it is past. I was thinking it's present, but yes, I was, because it reminds her of the past. So yes, I have 3 children, so I was very busy every day when my children were smaller or younger. So great, fantastic. I have 3 children, so I was very busy every day. Fantastic. Okay. Alright, so that's the end of that. And before we start some talking, I have a very, very bad joke that I found it and I want to show you. Have a read of this and see if you understand. I got a laugh, maybe someone got it. So the teacher says to Charlie, is the name of the student. The teacher says, give me a sentence which includes the words defense, defeat, detail, or detail. Detail as a verb, you can say detail, usually a noun, detail. Charlie says, when a horse jumps over the fence, defeat go first and then detail.
What meanings detail?
Sorry?
Detail, what meanings?
Oh, what does it mean? Shall say? So what's defense?
The defense is the protection, isn't it?
Okay, so there's 2 things happening here, right?
Yeah.
So let's look at the original word. Defense is,
The guard.
yeah, okay, protecting, right? Protecting, protection, right? Defeat,
Is you. enemy or
okay. So, but this is a noun. Well, it could be either. I don't know. Well, they've given them a capital letter. That's not normal in English. But So defeat is, well, but also losing itself. What's opposite of what's well, no, right. And detail is okay. So we have defense, defeat, and detail. So why is it when a horse jumps over defense, defeat go first and then detail? This is a terrible joke. It sounded like you understood it before, right?
Yeah, I thought so.
So what, can you explain what's happening?
I don't understand the details.
Well, what if I say, I'll change my pronunciation. When a horse jumps over defense, defeat goes first and then detail. This is a really bad joke. So, what is defense? The first thing you said a few minutes ago. Fence. Right? Okay, so we've got a fence. Right? That's horrible thing, right? And then here's the horse, right? What the hell is that? The horse is jumping over the fence.
Yeah.
Right? Defeat. Really, this is going to be my horse.
Very deep. Oh, this is so small. What is that?
It's my horse.
Something wrong with you. Oh,
That's my horse. And he's jumping over defense. Right? The fence. Defeat go first. And then detail. What are defeat and detail or detail? In fact, if I were American, I would probably say defense, not defense. Defense. Defeat. Detail. Either one is fine, defense or defeat, because in English we say the and the, both. But for consistency, right, so it's all the same. Defense, defeat, detail. When a horse jumps over defense, defeat go first and then detail.
これですね。こうですね。
So maybe Sengu-san could tell us what is defeat.
ディフィートはわからないけど。ディフィートはわからない。
Does that show us that now?
あ、いや、わかんない。言葉的にはわかるけど。そうですね。これは。これですよ。これですよ。違うんです。違うんです。
ちょっと違う。全体的に分かったと思いますね。Erin?
The defeat is horse's tsumasaki. The feet.
This is my foot, right? The feet. Right? The feet go first, right? This is feet. Right? And then detail. The tail. The tail. Detail. Right. So when a horse jumps over the fence, The feet go first and then the tail. Very funny, isn't it? That's terrible. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't make this, I think.
Sure.
Yes, I go posting it everywhere. Facebook, Instagram. Okay. But that's a somewhat common thing in English, Joe, where you use the d sound to mean the. So you'll find that coming up in jokes.
And
Okay.
also the sounds are the same, the feet and also the tail, that's right?
Well, yes. But it's hard to notice. In fact, it's spelt. Fence is the same. Tail's the same. Feet is spelled differently. Should be E-E.
Yeah.
Yes. But the d being attached makes it tricky. Maybe for a non-native to think of that. Because you see the word and you pronounce the word like that. But a native hears it and they immediately get it. Alright. Where's my stuff gone? Okay. Da. Da. So defense, the fence. Or defense, the fence. Oh, okay. So when a horse jumps over the fence, the feet go first and then the tail. Okay. Now I forgot to bring my ball. My lovely ball. I have a ball, it's like a dice. It's like all around, and there's 12 numbers on it. But I forgot to bring it. So instead, what will we do? Let's talk about these. Let's just go through them in order. Okay? Starting with easy things and then getting to more difficult things at the bottom. Okay? So, describe an interesting dream that you had recently. Maybe that's a bit tricky actually. Let's start with number 2. What is your favourite holiday destination? So ideally, if we have more students, then we could break up into a couple of groups, but only 3 students today. So we will get you to talk one by one, maybe. So what is your favourite holiday destination? For example, until I moved to Japan, my favourite holiday destination was Japan. I always wanted to come. Apart from that, I'm not really sure. Maybe I don't know. That's a good question. What is my favourite holiday destination? I'll have to think about it. I don't know. Otsiai-san, where is your favourite place to go for a holiday or a vacation? Or where would you like to go if you don't go often? Maybe there's a place you'd like to go.
After on holiday, in holiday. Well, my job is dancing, social dancing. So on holiday, I have to work.
Okay. So here holiday doesn't just mean your day off work, it means vacation. So if you go and stay somewhere. So maybe, might be years ago, maybe you went overseas, or maybe you went to Osaka, or you went to Hokkaido, So somewhere you went to travel. Or, if you haven't been, maybe a place that you would like to go. So, I mean, dancing, that's a great thing to do. Dancing is good in your time off, on your day off. But for here, holiday, in Australian English, holiday is vacation. So, your favourite place to go is travel. What do you think?
Even Japan, I go to travel, travel, journey. どこにも行かない。日本国内でもどこにも行きます。
There's no place that you want to go to?
Now, COVID-19. I don't know where.
Okay, English first?
Yeah.
Let's all stay here tonight. Bring your sleeping bag. Well, what if there's no COVID? Right, so not necessarily this year, 5 years ago, 5 years later, or now, but pretend there's no COVID. Your favourite holiday destination? Here?
In summer, I like to go Hokkaido.
Ah,
In winter or autumn, Hokkaido is snowy. So I don't want to go Hokkaido now. Autumn, I want to go Nikko.
Ah.
It's very beautiful. Red leaves,
Yeah.
yellow leaves.
Yeah.
There.
Yes, Nikko was good. I think we intend going there.
Yeah, we're going to Nikko soon.
Nikko and Nasu.
It has
Very hard to drive.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's your job.
Yeah. Because I get classic if I'm on the passenger seat and someone's driving. I will get classic, so I have to drive myself. I know you were joking about me. I have to.
What about you, Eri? Your favourite holiday destination?
Used to be the same one too. Like I always wanted to go to Japan when I was in Australia, but now my favorite holiday destination would be Australia. I want to go.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Yeah.
I would be happy if it were easier to go now.
Yeah.
I had my first vaccine on Thursday morning, and by the end of this year, I think Australia will make it easier for people who are double vaccinated to travel back there. There should be, hopefully, no quarantine, no hotel isolation, and hopefully cheaper flights. Eri and I went back to Melbourne in May, late May. We were there for 2 months
This year.
this year.
今年オーストラリアに行ったんです。
It was very expensive. The flight was expensive, and 2 weeks in a hotel room, isolation, and that was very expensive. So hopefully next time it will be easier. Alright, now what do we do this? Let's pick a question. Alright, you answered, so let's pick a question here. So we've done number 2. Pick one, and then everyone will answer.
Number 11.
Number 11, that takes time to do. Alright, these two
And number 7.
might be a bit too long now. So, number 7, would you rather travel to the past or the future? If you could time travel, would you like to go back in time? Or would you like to go into the future? Alright, what do you think?
I want to travel in future.
Mm-hmm. Why is that?
I don't want to travel past. Because pharmacist test. My pharmacist test is very, very difficult. So I don't want to give second.
I don't want to take the test again.
Take this second.
Okay.
For future travel, I want to see my son or my daughter's wedding
Nice.
or his or her children.
Mm.
So I want to travel the future.
Very good. Okay. Let's see, Hassan, what do you think?
future travel, we get much advantage,
Mm.
but it is impossible.
Well, yes, it is definitely and past and future both impossible. But these are hypothetical, right? Hypothetical. Hypothetical. I need to actually check that. But what does hypothetical mean? So, hypothetical is, it's not real. We are imagining the situation, right? Hypothetical. It's almost a thought experiment, I suppose. That's a bit different, right? It's not, you know, you're imagining, okay, what would it be like? Hypothetical, right? So it is hypothetical that you can travel to the past or the future. So if it were possible, which would you prefer to go to? So Ochiai-san says traveling to the future could be very advantageous. We could get some advantages because we know what will happen. Yeah? Maybe you can find out who wins the baseball and bet lots of money and then become really rich.
Back to the beach.
Alright, we better keep going. Eric.
I think I'd love to go to the future, but also I'd love to go to the past and to see real dinosaurs. I want to see dinosaurs.
Well, they might be coming back. You might get killed over the dinosaurs.
Yeah, but we don't know what they like. We know what they like, but we don't know their actual colors, right? So I just want to know.
Okay.
So maybe I won't touch.
Fair enough. Okay. Keo, pick a question. Hmm? 9. Great job and would you rather have a great job but a terrible boss, or a terrible job but a great boss? All right. So, what do you think? Great job, bad boss, or great, what is it? Bad job, good boss. Which is better?
Bad job, but great boss.
Why do you think that?
I can tolerate with him. The great boss. I will tolerate. Okay.
So,
Tolerate.
Tolerate.
Tolerate. Yes. So, what would you tolerate? What?
With the boss.
The
Great boss.
the great boss. So you would tolerate the boss, or the boss would tolerate you?
Each other.
Oh.
Each other.
Okay. So the relationship would be good. You have a good relationship with your boss. Maybe the good relationship with your boss would make the job better. But maybe you work at, I don't know, at a sewage farm. Like, you work, I don't know how to say that, I don't know, something, right? Really, really bad job. Your boss would need to be really good to make that job good. But maybe that's okay. Maybe a good job, a good boss can help things. Erin?
I think the same as on Jason. Terrible job, but a great boss is much better. Way better than great job, but terrible boss.
I suppose it depends on what a terrible boss is, or what they might do. Are they mean? Are they stupid? Do they not pay you enough money? Are they, I don't know, it could be anything. Okay. Do you have anything to add? Or? Yeah.
My job is one great job, but sometimes very terrible.
The job? Oh, okay.
But my boss is very great, great man, great guy. job change. I think. I think relationship is most important of every job.
Yeah.
I think every job, but great office.
What about the relationship with your co-workers? Maybe even if your boss is really bad, if you have a good relationship with your co-workers and you enjoy the job itself, maybe it's okay to have a bad boss. So that all comes into it. But hypothetically, well, because it is hypothetical, it allows us to consider all these different things. All right. What's your son? Please choose a question. If you had to, would you?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, 5 senses. Seeing, taste, listening, smell and touch. Which one do you think? Number 5. Okay. All right. If you had to, which of the 5 senses would you give up? All right. So sight, smell, taste, hearing, and touch. You had to give up, right? Instead of which one would you choose to give up? So, Eri, you're answering first. Probably the last question.
I don't want to give up anyway.
You don't have to, right? That's not allowed, right?
Maybe smell?
Smell. Why would you give up smell?
Because I want to see, I want to hear, I want to taste, I want to feel. But smell.
What? Okay. So you like to make bread.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be able to smell the fresh bread that you make. You wouldn't be able to smell the food. You wouldn't, at least when you go to the toilet, you wouldn't be able to smell.
But I'll be very sad if I can't taste any bread.
But taste and smell are connected.
I know. That's
If you
why
lose smell, you
No.
lose a bit of taste.
I know, that's why I chose one. I mean, one of them.
No.
I
If you-
know. I know what to say. But you know, because then I don't want to lose any of them. So I had to give up taste or smell. Then I don't want to lose taste.
Okay, so you would lose smell and you would forfeit a little bit of your taste.
Yeah.
Okay. Theo.
I think taste.
Mm.
When I check medicine, I use the see or smell.
Yeah.
Explain medicine to patient. I use some
Yeah.
hearing
Hearing.
is very important. But taste is not important to check medicine.
But if you will eat something good, but you can't feel.
That is. I don't care about everyday food.
Okay.
So, it's not important for me. Taste.
Good.
And some medicine is very bitter. So if I don't taste, and I don't feel bitter taste.
Right. Well, maybe if no one had taste, then we would be a lot healthier because we wouldn't necessarily want to eat the sweet stuff and the fatty stuff. We would just eat healthy things because it all tastes the same. All right, what's your answer?
Smell.
Yeah.
Hi. My function of smell is already bad.
Do you feel like that you have lost something, like it's regrettable? Do you wish you still could smell? Do you think, it would be good if I could smell things now? So you've lost a bit of smell, right? But is that a bad thing or a good thing?
Oh. I don't understand what you
Sorry.
said.
So, you said, my smell isn't good now. Right? You said your smell isn't so good. So, you would choose smell. Right? Because now, it's already not very good. Yeah? But, let's say, hypothetically, right? So imagine, maybe 30 years ago, all of these were perfect, right? Which would you then choose?
If you have very good sight, very good hearing, very good smell, very good taste, very good touch, if you can have
I have bad smell but I have almost no trouble. So
Almost no, sorry?
trouble I eat natto, but people say it's awful smell. But I enjoy eating that.
So, you're finished. でも、もし5つ全部完璧だとすれば、どれを選びますか？
Smell is most damage.
Latest. Okay. Okay. So, least important. Least. That's okay. Sorry. So, the least important. Okay. So, okay, and that's interesting because you said that. You said taste.
Yeah, he said taste. Yeah.
So 2 people have said smell. Okay. Sorry, I couldn't quite understand what you said before. So yeah, so you think smell is overall the least important. So you would lose the least. Right? If you lose sight, you lose a lot. Hearing, you lose a lot. Smell, you lose, but not so much. Okay. Interesting.
What do you think?
I don't know. I'm not a student. Okay, so, got a bit over there. Maybe we will continue this a little bit next week when we have more people, and we will do these 2 things. That requires some preparation in class, okay? We had less time because, as always, I took too much time on the other things. So thank you, and maybe next week we'll have a bit of a look at Halloween as well. We'll have more people so we can do more talking. Okay, and next week we'll also be here. Right, thank you very much. Thank you very much for coming.